Hey everybody, what is going on? Welcome to another episode of This is Tom's World Live. That's right, another random episode because you can't hold me down. You can't tell me when and where I'm going to do. No, I'm not going to go down that route. I'm just kidding. Actually, I still haven't decided on an exact day or time that I'm going to be doing this, so they're just going to be coming like kind of randomly. And if you're not here for the lives, then you can always catch the replays and stuff like that. The only downfall of that is that, it's a replay and you're not watching it live. But no, I will still see the comments, like all of us in BB3 will actually still see the comments on there. And one of us can answer. What's up, Mama Two Books? So happy that you're here. When you were in when you were in Taryn and Darren's chat there, and they were talking about like haunting people when you're gone, and you said that you had a list of people that you planned on haunting when you're gone. I think I know one of them, at least one of them. Maybe me too. I don't know, but definitely somebody else, and I won't mention his name. So anyway, so yeah, so today's episode is kind of special. It's special in the fact that we're going to be starting a series of videos of my favorite place that I've ever found in the world. For Taryn, this place is Gettysburg itself. I knew Mama Two Books. Taryn just like feels such a connection to Gettysburg itself. And for me, that place is this one little piece of land within the Chamonix State Park, which is the place that I now work at, all due to this garden. It all connects. I found this place. Well, somebody had mentioned while I was doing my videos, because I was struggling to find different places to go, and a friend of mine said you should go to the Chamonix State Park, and I said, why the hell would I do that? There's a pool there, and there's woods, and then there's a river, and then there's Neshaminy Creek. Big deal. I can get woods footage anywhere. Did not know the history in it until I started looking up on it, because I was starting to get a little pressed for places to explore and to check out and see if there's a history. And I found out there was indeed a history about this place. So just a little backstory of this place without going into extreme detail. There's going to be, it's going to be a few minutes at least worth of explaining. So, so this little area, which is now part of Neshaminy State Park, Neshaminy State Park is over 330 acres large, and there was about 150 some acres of that was a private property up until up until the 60s, we'll say. The person who owned it died in the mid 50s, but his caretaker was part of the will that he could still live there and take care of the land until he should choose to leave or until he passed away, to which he did pass away sometime in the 60s. I don't know if it was early or mid 60s. His wife was still alive, but since she wasn't part of the will, the state said, yep, hit the bricks. Sorry, you're not part of the will. It was just your husband and he's gone, so now you got to leave. And the state took over because past his caretaker, he willed this land to the state to become either a park or a school or some kind of animal sanctuary or whatever. And he loved nature. He loved animals. I mean, it was as if it was like in his DNA to love nature, to love animals, to have respect for them. He wouldn't even kill a fly, this man. I mean, a mosquito would land on him, he'd let it just suck away on his blood and everything like that. He didn't care. He would not kill anything. And okay, I'm getting a little ahead of myself because I didn't practice this part of the speech. I was just thinking about showing the videos. So I'll take a swig of water here because that was a lot of talking and got my mouth dry. So this man's name is Robert Logan. He and his wife, Sarah Logan, were gifted this land by her parents as a wedding present. At the time, they lived in California, but they were both from the Philadelphia area. They were from very high-class families, very wealthy families, and they met somehow, which I'm not really sure exactly how they met. I'm guessing at like social gatherings, things like that. They come across each other, and they fell in love. They got married. They moved out to California. They had a huge estate over there. This was to be like their vacation estate. 150. Well, I think it was actually just over 100 acres that they were given, and he wound up buying more land, going all the way down to the Delaware River, which I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with because of George Washington crossing the Delaware River, stuff like that. And it separates Pennsylvania and New Jersey. Anyway, so he had this land. He made his mansion there, and then right next to the mansion, which I guess would be technically the back of the mansion, because the mansion was like longer than it was wide. I know that's what she said. But on the wider end, on the back, is where he made this garden. And now, mostly, he made this garden in honor of his daughter. So he themed the garden in Alice in Wonderland. What's up, BB3 TV? I don't know who you are, but yo. So he themed this in the Alice in Wonderland story. So in this garden, he decided to put a human chessboard, because in the storybook, not the Disney version, but maybe it was in the Disney version, I'm not sure. But in the storybook, there was a human chessboard, or if they were humans, I'm not sure, because Alice in Wonderland, there was people that weren't people. But people, or beings, we'll say, would play pieces, and people, the people controlling it would say, knight to rook, blah, 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 this, that. And I'm not going to pretend I know how to play chess that well. I can play it, but not that well. So he decided to put one of those in the garden. That was a must. So in the far right corner of the garden was this chessboard. He also decided to put down planters in the shape of spades, and the 3 playing cards that he put down that were supposed to be the planters was the 2 of spades, the 5 of spades, and the 7 of spades. And the reason he chose those, again, forgetting about the Disney version of Alice in Wonderland and just focusing on the original story, when Alice first went into Wonderland and she went to the Queen's castle, she met 3 playing cards that were painting white roses red because they planted the wrong color. And that was the 2 of spades, the 5 of spades, and the 7 of spades. So there we have the 3 playing cards, and the spades are all planters. And there is also a Humpty Dumpty up on a wall. There's only one wall. Outside of that, it was a wrought iron fence that went around it, which there are pieces of still around today. And you'll eventually see them in some of the videos that I have. Humpty Dumpty was mentioned in Alice in Wonderland. So he decided to put, and it may have been where the story of Humpty Dumpty came from. I'm not 100% sure on that. I never went that far into my research, because I was more focused on the garden than I was the actual meanings behind things. And so you have all this. You have just this garden alone. Now, he had this mansion on the one side. Attached to the wall, there was a carriage house. On the other side of the wall, there was like a little pump house. Well, it was a pump house in the basement. Up top, I suspect Humpty is awesome. I guess BB3 TV is Dom. I kind of figured when he said yo, but I wasn't 100% sure. So anyway, thanks for being here, Dom, and your mom's here too. Dom and Mama 2 books. Anyway, so where was I? Okay, so yeah, there was another house just on the outside of the wall. The bottom was a pump house for the garden and the surrounding crops that they had. And then on the other side of that little building, there was a barn, which eventually the second floor of the barn was converted to a theater, so that when they had their famous friends over who were actors and whatnot, they could perform for them. Not just for them, but for everybody that was there when they would have like large gatherings of people, if they so choose so. Now, with the chessboard, Dom is always checking up on me. Just when you think he's not there, there he is. You're getting a phone call. One time he called me and it actually answered on its own, and he was in my pocket. That was just last week. True story. Anyway, I keep getting sidetracked. It's like my squirrel moments. Like I'm saying something, I'm focused, and oh look, squirrel. You'd think this is like my first time broadcasting, but it's not. It's just been a really strange day for me today. But anyway, for as for the chessboard, what would happen is they would send in the mail to their friends a package that would contain the costume that they are to portray the piece of, and an invite to come and join them. And they would actually have people dress up as the chess pieces, and they would have two people controlling on each side, like what piece goes where. And everybody would have their own little table and their own little chair, including the people dressed as pieces. The table was for their drink, which they never mentioned was alcoholic, but I'd have to think it was. Um, Even though that was probably in the times of prohibition, but like the rich people didn't really have the same laws as the rest of us did. So, um, and the servants would be there, and they would move the table and chair to the place where the piece was supposed to be and all that. Um, so that's how that worked out. Eventually, the Logans, I cannot remember the religion or the science that they started to follow. I think it was Theolicism or something like that. I think it was called. And if somebody knows, they can correct me. Um, they eventually decided to, which they adapted from out near India and stuff like that. They have friends out there that were very well known in many circles, especially the more wealthy people. They adopted this religion of sorts, and they were asked that they get rid of all their servants because it kind of goes against what the beliefs of the religion was. So they got rid of the servants, and they ran the land themselves. Now they started to build little houses, and they would invite artists of different sorts to come out and be part of like a community, a commune, if you will. And these artists would move their families into these little houses, and they would work on the land, and they would contribute also by selling their art and giving the money back to the place. And all they did was just live and be happy. And it seems like such a utopia to me. And the more I learned about this place, the more connected to this place I felt. So, like, I mean, if there's such a thing as past lives, and there's even a guy that wrote a book about this, and he said the same thing, that if there's such a thing as past lives, I believe maybe I might have been at this place somehow at some point. It was such a positive, happy place, and everyone there was like in their own heaven. And they had a gentleman move there, a friend of theirs from out in California. He was very well known throughout the world for his art, and among many other professions that he had. His name was Richard Blossom Farley. He didn't go by Richard; he just went by Blossom Farley. He wound up getting tuberculosis. He moved to this place because Sarah Logan, who was very good friends with him, she said, not knowing much about medical or medicine back then, we'll say, she said, why don't you come out here, stay with us, be in the fresh air, it'll do you good. So he came out there, he moved in with them. First thing he did was he built a tower, a 4-story tower, each floor a different room. And then he started working on an underground. And in the underground, which was mainly for during the summer times, because it gets quite hot there. When I first started going there, it was like June. And even just walking around there, I was sweating like crazy. So I can understand. And when I did find the little holes that led down to where he was, I put my hand down there. It felt like air conditioning. So he knew what he was doing. And he made this underground dwelling that was 15 rooms, all laid out like a maze. And he would just go between. So in the winter and the fall, he would be in his tower. In the summer and the spring, he would spend most of his time in the underground. He had electric running down there. He had gas. He had water. I mean, he knew what he was doing, and he pretty much built this mostly on his own. He would dig it out. He would make the concrete floor, and then he would make the concrete walls, and then he would fill that room with whatever he could find around, tires, whatever, trees. Just put it in there, and then put like a little platform on top, and then make the ceiling. And then he would pull that platform and all the different debris and whatnot that he put in there, and then he would have a room, and then he'd make a hallway doing the same thing. Now, a lot of the rooms had a ceiling that was made up of mostly bottles, so he would put bottles in there. That way he'd get the natural light in that room. But like I said, he did have electric, so I'm assuming he would have light down there otherwise for the nighttime. Very, very strange character, this Blossom Farley. I mean, you can do an online search for him and look into him. He was also head of I'm not sure what it's called, the coin collectors, whatever that's called. He was head of the Philadelphia chapter of that. So he had tons and tons of rare coins, which he did hide about. Hey, Laura, how you doing? Um, which he did hide about in different areas. After he passed away, the caretaker's wife found on the bottom of his dresser drawers, like every drawer was lined double eagle golden coins going around every drawer. I mean, worth probably millions today. So now, when this garden was made, it was roughly, we'll say, the 19 teens sometime when they started constructing the mansion and the garden, and then they went outward from there and building the different buildings. And I tell you, Robert and Sarah Logan, if you look them up, Robert's middle name is like Restelrig or something like that. Don't ask me to spell it. It's a strange name, but you could look up Robert Logan Sarobia, and you'll find a bunch of information online about it. There's even some videos that aren't mine. Most of the videos you come across, if you look up Sarobia or something like that, they're going to be mine. I pretty much cornered the market on the videos for this. So anyway, rambled long enough about the past. Now, going back to when I found this place, the first time I went to the Chamonix State Park, I had no idea where to go. So I went around the entire perimeter of the park. That video was almost an hour long. I'm going to spare you that video. It's just woods. It's a river. It's a creek. Blah, 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 blah. No big deal. What's up, Darren? Glad you made it. So you notice I don't bring up comments a whole lot because I talk with my hands a lot. So to go back and forth with the mouse. But I will call you out when you make a comment. And Darren saying hi to Laura. So the second time I went there, the only reason why I found the garden, and I said it in the first video, I said, I've been walking all around. I don't see hide nor hair of a wall or a Humpty Dumpty or a garden or anything like that. I said, but I just know that I'm going to put this video out and somebody's going to be like, yo, dumbass, it's right there. Sure enough, it happened. Somebody, I mean, they didn't call me dumbass, but they let me know that, hey, listen, all you got to do is go to the second parking lot and walk, make a left and go down, and you'll find the bathrooms, walk around the trail, and you'll find it. I found it within 5 minutes of getting out of my car. So I felt a little sheepish, I guess you could say. But then I did my first video there. And the first time I was in it, from the first time I crossed the threshold into this garden, I could feel, and I know it sounds corny, maybe not on BB3 network, which is mostly paranormal. So, maybe you'll all understand what I'm saying. But as soon as I walked into this place, I felt an immediate connection. And I thought, wow, this place is like magic. I mean, it's like, it was literally like walking into a storybook. You could almost picture little fairies flying around and stuff like that. And it was just hidden off in the back. And the more I went there, the more I started thinking, I feel like I have to be a part of bringing this back, because I know there's a chessboard here somewhere. I know there's tons of brick paths under all this dirt and weeds and stuff like that. I mean, they kept it up in the park. They would mow in there and stuff like that. But I knew there was more to it. So I eventually got in touch with the park manager, who is now my boss's boss. And I talked to her, and I found out that as long as I put in the application, become a volunteer, and I pass their background check, which isn't like anything extravagant. They just want to make sure you're not like a psychopath or something like that. You pass the background check, you can become a volunteer, and then I would be able and allowed to start digging up once I found these paths. So I was ecstatic about this news. And I did a live feed, which was only supposed to be about a half hour long, just to let everybody know. And it was on my YouTube channel. I wound up bringing in Kenny Biddle and other people and stuff like that. And it wound up being like well over an hour long. And then the next video I made was the one that you're about to see. It's supposed to be, and it is, about my plans for the garden. Now, at this time, I was by myself. I didn't have any other volunteers or anything like that. So now I'm going to start the video. First, I'm going to look down at the comments here. Yes, you did, Darren. Thank you. And like I said, I do know that I have to move past those feelings from the friend who had passed on or ex-friend that had passed on. But it's easier said than done. You know what I mean? We dealt with it for a lot of years while he was still here, and he tried to manipulate common friends and things like that. So, as I said, I've let go of 90% of the crap that I felt for him since he has passed, and I'm still working on that. I don't, like I said, I think just to give you you all a little insight into what Darren and I are talking about. They were talking about paranormal things and people crossed over and all that, and I said that I'm convinced that there's an ex-friend of mine who we weren't friends for quite a few years before he passed, and he passed by his own hands, not suicide, but drugs. But I'm convinced that he still messes with me to this day. He shows up in my dreams more than any other person that's passed. What's up, Ray? And he tried to sabotage friendships. He tried to sabotage me legally, all kinds of stuff. And it's a little tough to let go of that sometimes. It's been a few years since he passed away, and I've pretty much forgave him for what he did, but the effects of what he was able to do with common friends are still apparent in the current life. So it's a little tough to let go of that last 10%. But anyway, let's see what else we got here. Patricia says maybe you were a fairy in another life. Man, you never sounded more like your son. I just gotta say. I'm even going to put that one up. You have never sounded more like Dom ever. My God, now I know where he gets it from. I love you. What's going on, Tom? Darren, hi, Tom Springer. We got that. All right, so now I'm going to start the video. So this is again, just to recap, this is the video of once I was given permission to start making the changes to the existing garden and bring back the old garden from 100 years prior. And this was just a video where I lay out my plans. And the reason why I'm showing this video is because it gives you a good idea of the layout of what it looked like before I did anything. And then we'll go into day one of the restoration. Hey everybody, and welcome to another installment of Tom's World. Today I am back in the Chamonix State Park once again, and of course, I start off in the garden. I love this place. I come to you with some good news, just in case you didn't happen to catch my live feed on Friday, I believe it was. And to be honest, I don't blame you for not watching it. It's an hour and a half long. It went like about an hour longer than I thought it was going to, but everybody seemed to be into it, at least on my Facebook anyway. So the news that I have is that I've been talking with the head ranger, the manager, and she has been talking with the maintenance guy, and between us all, I was given the green light to go ahead and help re-beautify this place, to make it look the way that Robert Logan had intended it to look, so, or at least as close to it as we can get. So that entails a lot of things, one of which, of course, is I have to, and yes, I am wearing a Cheech and Chong cartoon type shirt, just so in case you're wondering. Dig up, or we have to, I should say, not I, that won't be me alone. We have to dig up the remaining paths. Taryn, I told you what you got to do. So gingerly, because keeping in mind
give me the email address.
These bricks could be from like the 1920s, unless they've been replaced since then while the Logans still lived here. There are a bunch of extra bricks that we do have access to, apparently.
No, it wasn't 420. It was just one of the shirts in my cycle of shirts that I had at the time.
I still have it, but you can't even see Cheech and Chong anymore. They've worn off from all the washing. But again, Taryn, send me a message with the email that you use to go live on StreamYard. Whatever that email is, you send it to me. Okay, well, then there you go. Now send it to me in a message, because I'm not going to go back and see these messages. I mean, maybe I will, but send it to me in a private message. And then as soon as I'm done this, I will add you to it. And then all you got to do is go into your email and click on the accept when you get the email. Listen, don't MF me, all right? I'm trying to explain to you what to do. Every time you bring it up, I explain to you what to do, and then you still continue to bust my balls about it. But I'm telling you, that's all I need is that email. As a matter of fact, I can't copy and paste from here, because every time I hover over it, it clicks on show. Yeah, I can't. I can't copy and paste it. All right, so yeah, send it to me in a private message, and then as soon as I'm done this show, I will add you, and then you will have access to it. It's that simple. It's just that easy. Anyway, currently on the side of the garden, so hopefully, if we have to replace any, we can use those. And so we have to dig them up. We have to level out the paths because over time, some of them have sank, some of them have risen because there used to be trees growing in here. So the root system probably lifted up the bricks. So the goal is to try to expose them and level them off. Do the same exact thing with the chessboard over there. And then from there, the next thing that I could think of that we would want to do is over that way. You can see the mini reflecting pool. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to have water in there for safety purposes. Even though it's not really deep, it's still, plus standing water, mosquitoes, things like that. So it may be possible to just fix the stones that are on there and just make it like a planter for like low growing plants or flowers or something. And then past that, I'm not really sure what we'll be able to accomplish this year, because by the time we get done all that, it's going to be way too late to be planting flowers and stuff like that. We also have the raised. The loud noise in the background is a combination of birds, locusts, bugs, crickets, all kinds of stuff. There is all kinds of life in these woods. I can't even begin to tell you. Like anything from as small as a tick to as big as a deer. There's groundhogs. There's all kinds of stuff in here. That rhymed. I didn't mean for that to rhyme, but yeah, there's a lot of animal and insect life in this place, and I get to see it 5 days a week now. Bed garden over there. Probably dig that out and get all the old dirt out of there because that's been in there forever. Put in all new soil. In the
I know, isn't that strange, Tom?
Reflecting pool over here.
No Bigfoot that I've seen.
They filled that in with the intent of putting flowers in there.
I mean,
like a little mini.
I've seen some people with big feet there, but I've never seen Bigfoot there.
Flower bed, well, not mini, but like a flower bed.
What's up, BB3?
So we might have to dig all that dirt out as well and put in fresh soil when it comes time to plant the flowers. For now, it's okay to just stay like that.
Dustin,
maybe
what's
the
up,
winter
brother?
or something, we could figure out something to dig it out or whatever. Sorry, I keep looking at the display instead of the camera, and I've really got to stop doing that. Anyway, so yeah, let's.
Littlefoot. That's actually the name of a music band. FYI.
Just take a walk around, and I'll show you what I'm talking about, what I want to do. The whole reason they have this fence here is to.
Now, once again, I'm going to keep pausing this just to explain things here and there. And I know it's a little annoying, but since this is the first look that BB3 has had at the garden, you know, I want to go into as much detail and inform you as much as I can. So what you're seeing here is the main entrance to the garden. There are two doors, one on either side of this, and this is the only wall. Like I said, the rest of it used to be a wrought iron fence. What you see there is not the wrought iron fence. That was put in there by the maintenance team to try to keep people from going through that entrance, but it doesn't stop them. They just open the gates and go through. And the only reason that they don't want people to go through that, and you can just about barely see the feet at the very top of the screen there, is Humpty Dumpty, and they're afraid that he's going to fall. Fact of the matter is, there is so much rebar shoved up Humpty Dumpty's ass going into the wall that he is not going to fall. He might crumble a little, and he has crumbled a little over the years, and you'll see that, but he's not going to fall. But you know, we're always on the lookout for the safety of the people that come to the park.
Deter people from coming through this way, even though I have seen many people go in and out this way. And yes, I was guilty of doing it my first time here because I neglected to read the sign on the other side. But they don't want people coming in here because just in case this happens to decide to come crashing down.
Okay, I forgot that I explained all that before I explained it.
They don't want anybody to get hurt. So
this video's over a year
If you
old.
come here, please respect that. There are entrances on either side, and then there's like a big opening right there. So you don't need to come through this way, but you can walk up to it just to take a look at Humpty Dumpty. So anyway, there's that. She wants to bring in somebody to do that. I think that the wall could stand to be
repainted, like take down the little bit of vines that are growing on there, have it repainted.
Never happened.
There's a couple of bricks up here that are a little loose, and then there's some, as you can see down there, that have fallen.
They don't want us to
And
paint.
you can see where it fell from. So maybe have it put back up there, cemented up, just to make sure it doesn't come falling down again. So there's that, and there's also the raised bed garden here. And now you notice that they took all the weeds out, which is great. I love it. When I came here the last time and I saw that, I thought that was awesome. And in doing so, they exposed these little brackets right here. There's one on that side, and then directly across from it there, and they go all the way down here. Now I assume this was just to separate out the flowers, like, you know, this section will be this flower, that section will be that flower, so on and so forth.
Okay, once again, interrupting the video. The reason for those brackets is this was not actually a raised bed garden. This was a cold frame, which is basically like a little mini greenhouse. So they had like a glass case that went over top of it, and they would fit into those brackets so that they could still grow things in the winter. And it was more of a controlled environment. There is pipes going around the middle of the walls in there that would have hot water coming through it, not into the soil, but just to warm the soil and control the temperature inside of that. So just a little FYI.
But there is also in the middle, you can see where it's dug out a little bit. That's from me the last time I was here. There's a concrete divider going down, and that's like dead in the center of this. So that is also cool. But we got to get all this dirt out of here, because this dirt is old, and you know, it's got all kinds of weed root systems growing in it, and it'd be nice to just start with fresh soil.
Which
that's going to be a lot of money. So at some point we're going to have to do some kind of fundraising to get the money for all the soil and the cement that we might need.
We had a fundraiser, and we raised over $2,300 for the garden, which is now in control of the volunteers, of which I am not one anymore, because I'm an employee and you can't be both for the state.
And the flowers, and maybe flower donations from different companies. I don't know. We'll get to that when we get to it. That will probably be during the off season when I try to do some kind of fundraising. But for this season, the goal is to get it all prepped, clean it up, level it out where we can, just make it look nice.
Now, keep mental notes on the way that this place looks now. You see virtually no paths except for like one or two. You see no chessboard. And remember how this thing looks, how nasty this thing looks right now. Because as time goes on, and we're not going to get to it today when we clean out the little pond here, but we will eventually get to it. But just keep mental notes of all this.
So here we are at the mini reflecting pool, and you can see that it actually has been trashed a little bit, like somebody kicked some of the rocks off more so than it was the last time I was here, which I don't like seeing. All you're really doing is just ruining something beautiful, and it's just a shame. So if anybody's ever here and they see people doing this, try to discourage them from doing it. But you can see it's now filled with all the same muck and grass from them mowing the lawn here. But a lot of the original rocks that are missing from the sides are in here. And I know that it's not that deep. The last time I was here, I took a stick and I put it down there. Some parts seem deeper than others, which lead me to believe that the concrete underneath has probably cracked open, but it's not seeping through. So it's maintaining water. So I'm not sure that we're going to be able to keep water in there, as I said, for safety reasons. But it would be nice if we could.
Looks
if not,
so different.
then we'll just make that some kind of little flower bed. Maybe put a bush in there or something. I don't know.
Blows me away.
All kinds of possibilities. We haven't got to that point yet. So
much work we did.
Anyway, you can see that there are some bricks still sticking up from paths. So it's going to be tough trying to figure out where every single path is in here. Although some of them you can clearly see. I know that, I'm pretty sure anyway, that there was one going around this whole little mound here.
Nope.
I doubt that this is the tree that was here.
Oh, I
back
didn't
then,
even
but
see.
obviously,
My beautiful goddess is here. She said, "Hey, Stephanie, everybody, Stephanie." For those of you who haven't seen her yet,
there was something here, and we have some drainage here, which is good. So I can say with some certainty that these two trees on the inside of the fence here were most likely here at the time.
I think they were.
Though
To this day,
I could be wrong, who knows, but I would assume they're rather large. This one too is rather thick. So chances are it was here for the original garden. Although I won't know 100% for sure until I get to the Ben Salem Historical Society, which I've been conversing with them as well. And I will be getting over there and getting a hold of all their information, which I believe I was told includes the garden plans. So to say what flowers grew where. Now we're not going to necessarily be able to use the same flowers that they used, because I was told by the ranger that the only kinds of plant life we can grow in here would be plant life that's native to the area.
and non-invasive.
So, but that doesn't matter. We can still make it look really, really nice in here. Okay, and here we have sundial number 1. This was in the garden originally. It has not moved anywhere, obviously. Sundial face and whatever you call that thing on top, long gone.
Geome or something.
Maybe
like
we
that.
could do something about that. And I had mentioned in my live feed that somebody was drawing arrows all over the place. There goes one of them. Again, I'm not sure what was here. This could have just been one of the wild trees that were growing that they decided to take down when they cleared out this area.
It was a maple tree, I believe.
So might try to, I don't know, maybe we can make that into another little flower bed of some kind.
Haven't done that yet.
You can see that the grass / weeds are growing through the bricks. Need to do something to take care of that as well.
Yep, a blowtorch.
Some of the bricks are a little askew.
That's what they use.
And I will try to take care of that as well with the maintenance man. More arrows. And see, now here you can see, despite the fact that, you know, it's got some dips and some raises, how the bricks were laid out. So that can be used as a guide when we're trying to put them back in after leveling out the ground. Another arrow. There was obviously a tree right here, long gone. You can see the line of the outside of the trail. So we know that there's definitely bricks under there, and where I am currently standing, because there's some more coming up. Got 2 pillars here, and then there's 2 pillars on that side. Figure out something to do with them.
Nothing.
What would be great is if we could find the original gates that went to these 2 sets of pillars. Maybe put the gate back on there just for show.
Spoiler alert.
I mean, they could be somewhere around here in the bushes. I know that some pictures that I saw, you have to do so gingerly.
Oh man, did I just do that? Let me find where I was here. Sorry, my apologies. It was right about there. So, off to the right of what you're looking at right now is behind the garden. So that wooden fence you see, that was put in by the park. On the other side of the wooden fence, take note, again, a little mental note of how overgrown that is. Right now, all that is cleared out, and there's new trees put in there. So, looks so much better.
I know that some pictures that I saw from, about 4 years ago, one of the gates was actually resting on that sundial down there. So maybe they have it in storage somewhere. I'm not sure. And you can see that parts of the path are either missing or sunk down way below the dirt line. Won't know for sure about that until we start digging. You can see some parts of a path out there and there. And then we have where the chessboard starts, all in this area right here.
That's right. There's a chessboard under that. Squares and bricks and grass.
Here's part of one of the squares. Here's another one. You can get a better look seeing the square outline, but it's not really straight as it was in the pictures that I saw, so may have to fix that. I just hope that in doing all this that we don't ruin a lot of bricks, because that would be a shame. I mean, they're just red bricks. I can't talk today. They're just red bricks, so it would be easy enough to get, I'm sure, but it would be really, really nice to use the originals.
Hey, BB3.
You can see it goes around here.
Guess that's Nighthawk.
And then a path went out that way. And then right about where that other pedestal is there that had the sundial on it, there's another path going out to the left. And then it goes, I believe, straight from here, right where I'm standing, or actually right about here. And it goes straight up that way, and it goes to the back fence of the garden. Goes all. There should be a path that goes all the way around, I believe.
Kinda.
But then you have this pedestal. Now this, the story behind this, and I'm not sure if I've told it before in its entirety, but Robert Logan had made this on his own. He sculpted the whole thing, and he had a sundial on the top. You can see where the two metal pieces were that it was part of, and somebody stole it along the same time they stole the original other sundial. And when they opened this as a park, people were actually using this because the rangers at the time didn't realize what they had here, so they put it over in that area where picnicking goes on. And people were setting their hibachis on top of this and ruining it. So one of the guys that belongs to the Ben Salem Historical Society, who also worked on this land when the Logans owned it, like him and his father, he worked on here as a child.
He did not work.
His name escapes me at the time.
He was the friend of
but I'm hoping he still works there, because I'd like to meet him.
Not important.
But he found out about this, and he said, oh, no, hell no. And he took it from where it was and put it here in the garden. Now, you'll notice it's on the bricks. This is something else I should like to fix. There are plenty of places throughout here that have concrete slabs in the ground that were for the many, many, many statues that they had in here. Maybe we could somehow get that lifted up and put on one of them so that the bricks aren't hindered by it. Otherwise, it's very beautiful. It's got all these different Egyptian type symbols on it. I know I've showed this before. I know I've put up pictures of it, but you're going to see it again.
I have no idea what this symbol is. I've looked it up.
This one, I have no idea what that is. If anybody knows what that is, let me know in the comments. I don't even know what to look up. Now this one, I know what it is. That's the Egyptian symbol for life, I believe it is, and it's called an Ankh. And then
life for eternal life.
Then you have the owl. But man, Robert Logan put a lot of work into this, and he really loved this. Of all the different ones that he had in here, which he had multiple sundials, many, many, many of them, this is the one I see him pictured with the most. And I believe it was written rather below one of the photos that it was his favorite. So there we have everything that I'd like to start doing, just to get the process started. Then we have this. I'm not sure what this is. I think it was just recently uncovered in the last 10 years or so. I want to say it was just another place to have like a statue or
I
a
now know
planter
what
of
it
some
is.
kind. But if you look, it's all brick underneath. So I'm wondering if maybe this was another reflecting pool. But it does have that right there, this little.
So what that turned out to be is in the middle of that little concave thing there, where that pipe is, there was a bird bath that came up, and it had a little fountain on it, and the water would just flow back into itself and stuff like that, like a fountain does. But that's what was there. It took me a long time to finally find a picture of it, which I did, and I have it somewhere. I think on my laptop, which has not been turned on in quite some time because that thing is on its way out. I really got to back up all the files that are on there and put them on this computer. But just so you know, that's what that was.
I don't know if that's a pipe. Maybe this was a fountain. Or maybe that was just something that held a statue in place. I don't know, because there is really not many pictures at all of this side. Most of the pictures that you see will take place either over there by that sundial or up by the main entrance. As far as the chessboard goes, I've only seen one picture of it when this was still owned by the Logans. So there we are. There's pretty much everything I want to do outside of getting rid of all the weeds and stuff around the trees. And that will be phase 1. I will be chronicling as I go along.
This little island you're looking at here, even though it is infested with weeds right there, there are actually hosta plants in there, and they've been in there for quite a long time, at least since the early 80s. The park opened as a park in 1970, I believe, and the local historical community, they actually had residents in a building in the carriage house that was attached to the wall there, and they took care of the garden. They planted some stuff in there, so that's been in there since then. But you can't tell right now because everything's being strangled by weeds. The other volunteers, more so than I didn't really work on that island, but they pulled all the weeds out of there. And the year that they pulled all the weeds out, man, the hostas came in with a vengeance. And now, wait till you see the newer videos. I mean, you'd never know that there was any weeds there at all. I mean, it's incredible.
I'm not sure if I'm going to do like one video at a time and show them as I'm doing it, or maybe just wait till I get everything done and just do a time lapse or something. I don't know. Maybe I'll do both. Who knows?
I do.
Anyway, I think I might go down and try to check out the caves. I was on to something last time I was here, or at least I think I was.
The caves that I'm referring to is the underground that Blossom Farley lived in. And I had found where one of the entrances was. But it was filled in, but some of the dirt had caved in, and I could see in there.
But I had to get going because I had to come up and talk to the ranger. But I think I may have started to find possibly where the main entrance is that I've been looking for, the one that has the archway of stones, bricks, or something like that. But before I do that,
thank you, Lord.
let me show you, as far as I can tell,
I love it too.
from the pictures that I've seen and the old aerial maps that I've seen, where some of the buildings used to be on this land when the Logans owned it. So here we have the entrance to the garden. We have the pump house, which obviously has been there all along. And from what I can tell in the pictures that I've seen, that on this side over here of the pump house towards the back, I believe that's where the barn house used to be.
That's
barn
right.
house and garage. It's kind of hard to tell in some of the pictures. Sometimes it seems like it's there. Sometimes it seems like it's off to the side on there. But, you know, there could be two different buildings there. And there hasn't been too much of a map layout. So maybe once I get to the Historical Society, maybe they'll have an actual map layout of the place. They can definitely tell me where the garage was, because when they first started up, they actually came here and fixed up part of the garage, and that was their office for the Bensalem Historical Society. And that's where I was wrong. It was not in that. It was in the carriage house, which was attached to the wall. You know, my facts back then were based on some of the stuff I read online, and some of the people had it wrong that that I read. I'm not passing the buck on them. I just had no access until I went to the Historical Society. I had no access to actual maps of the layout of the place, so I was just going on what I was reading online, and a lot of people had their facts wrong. Eventually, they decided that it wasn't safe enough, so they moved out and moved to where they are now. So, you have that. The mansion, I believe, was over this way, like way down there somewhere. Not way down, but like... Again, you see where I'm pointing. The mansion was not there. There were buildings over there, don't get me wrong. But the mansion was, like, from where we're standing now, that wall, we're on the outside of the garden. That wall is on the left. The mansion was on the other side of the wooden fence from where we are. Like, if you went into the garden and looked to your right, the mansion was there. I mean, I know that for sure now because I've had access to the maps. I've seen tons more pictures after I got to the Historical Society, because this place here, this was their main focal point for a long time. They have artifacts from there. They have another historical mansion that they take care of called Groudon Mansion, which incidentally is actually supposed to be the place where Benjamin Franklin actually flew the kite in that famous depiction. Not in Philly. This was in the outskirts of Philly. I know, controversy, right? And politics. Woo! But in that mansion, the dining room set that's in there came from the mansion here. So I have not yet gone there, but I do intend on going there once they're done. They're fixing part of the roof at this point. So until they're done, I can't go there. Down here somewhere, this road here was always paved. This was the, I believe this was the original road in and out. It's either this one or the one down that way, and it goes like that way. It might be the one down that way. I think that's Winks Lane. Yep. That one's called. This one, I'm not sure what this trail is called because I don't know that there's any sign for it. There might be up further. Oh. Another spoiler alert for way in the future of the videos, and I'm only mentioning it because of how proud I am of it, because it's because of me and the efforts of the other volunteers, not just me alone, obviously. They renamed that trail that we're looking straight at right now. It's now called Logan's Garden Trail. Logan being the guy's name that owned the place, and they didn't know to call it Sarobia at the time, but I was honored to be part of the naming of one of the trails. But so definitely the mansion was over in this direction somewhere, because when I see the overhead pictures of where that one sundial was, the gray one over in the far corner there that I just shown, it was in direct line with the mansion. There was the row of evergreens and then bushes and then like pansies or something in front of that went all the way from the house all the way down that way somewhere, and then they formed a circle at the end, and that was in the middle of the circle. So that much I know, and it was on the other side of the garden. But maybe it was further down than that, because also over here in this area in the corner, that right there is where the mansion was, we're looking at. And it might have gone in a little further than that. There was two greenhouses. One ran that way, one ran that way. And there was also a building there too. I'm assuming just for the greenhouses themselves, you know, equipment, whatnot. And that's where they grew all the flowers for Independence Mall downtown, even after the Logans had passed away. For quite some time, actually. So it might have gone out a little further, so I might be right in thinking that the road out there was the main road that went out, and that the mansion was down around here somewhere. And I think right over here was the barn house.
That's correct.
And then on the other side of the
What's
pump
up,
house
Jimmy?
may have been the garage. So that makes a lot of sense. So that might be it. Also, down in this direction somewhere, I'm not sure. I don't think it was on the same side over here as the barn house, which is kind of hard to imagine because you see the hill goes up a little bit. Maybe it just sat on top of that hill.
No,
it's entirely possible.
The hill is there because when the barn burned down, they did not remove the remains of the barn. They just covered it in dirt. So the barn is still underneath of that dirt, what's left of it anyway.
But somewhere right in here was Blossom Farley's 4-story tower. I've actually gone into the brush here, tried to look around to see if I could find any remnants whatsoever, and of course I could not. Really would have been nice. I found an area in there where it goes down a little bit, and that might be where it was. Like maybe the foundation was also dug out and that's why it goes down. Then again, that might have been an entrance into his underground dwelling as well, because it would make sense. I believe the dip is like right there. So maybe that was the covered up original entrance that I've been looking for, but I can't tell because the brush is too thick. So I'm gonna have to wait till the winter for that, I guess. But so that was pretty much the layout right here.
There was a lot more to it.
The Ben Salem Historical Society has also told me that they have a map showing where all the little housings were for the 13 different people or couples or whatever that lived here from the artist colony.
I know exactly.
So that'll be nice to have that, so I can go see if there's any remains of them as well, because I have been looking for them. I just haven't found any.
There are no remains. They moved the houses in one piece.
Now in front of the pump house, I still want to know what this is. This could have been another sundial. As I said, he had many of them. Although it could have just been a bird bath. I don't know. I haven't seen it in any pictures yet, so maybe we'll find out someday.
I may have, actually.
And back here is where I believe the garage was, where they would work on all the different vehicles and farming equipment. Which is kind of evident when you look. You can see a piece of it in here. I think I've shown it before, but I'll show it again.
That would be what they call a...
Oh, how I just love walking into spider webs. It's all wrapped around my head right now. But, so anyway, here's the piece of farming equipment. Some kind of wheat baler or something, or wheat cultivator. I'm not sure. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I know what I'm talking about with farming equipment, because I do not. But the irony is, the first time I came across this, and I was trying to explain it to my dad when I got home, and I showed him the pictures I took of it. He had a Western on at the time, and they had one of the exact same thing as this, being pulled by a horse. So he mentioned it was something to do with wheat. So I'm guessing that's what it is. And this tree just does not want to let go of it. It's like, no, it's mine. Get away, it's mine, damn it. You can see some pieces of concrete here. So, I don't know, maybe the garage came all the way out to this point, and maybe this was just...
Okay, so at this point, I happened to look over and realize that I've been on for almost an hour. And that's probably due to all the talking I did in the beginning and stopping the video. So what I'm going to do, the rest of this video is non-essential to the garden. So if you want to watch the rest of this video, you can go to my channel, youtube.com/thisistomsworld, and this is called my plans for the garden, something like that. I think it's my plans for the garden. So you can watch the rest of the video there. I do show a little bit of the underground caves, what I called them at the time. It's an underground dwelling. You can't really see a whole hell of a lot there. There's a lot of those like camel crickets or whatever they're called in there, and so it's not a jump scare. But I'm going to move on to the next video, which is day 1 of the restoration. Now this video is not long at all. It's only like 10 minutes long at most. So
I can at least get that one in. I planned on doing this video day 1 and day 2, but day 2 is like 14 minutes long, and I don't want to go really, really long with this show. So I mainly wanted to show what the layout of the garden looked like then, and then that way you get a better idea once we get to the end or towards the end of digging these paths out. You can appreciate it more. So I'm going to skip to the next video. So I'm going to remove that from the studio, and wow, there's me. Thank you, Patricia, Mama Two Books. I love you. Have a good day. And I am going to share the next video, day 1 of the dig out. Hey everybody, and welcome to another installment of Tom's World. Today I am back in the garden at the Chamonix State Park, and today will be day number 1 of me starting the process of uncovering the brick paths. So let's check it out. So as I said, today is day 1 of me starting the process of uncovering the paths. I'm not going to actually be uncovering much today. Today I brought some of my own tools, just small ones, so that I can maybe outline where the trails are.
No comments from the peanut
easier
gallery
for when we actually start digging them out. I didn't want to bother the maintenance man today because I got here a little bit later than I thought I was going to, and it is pretty hot and humid out today, so I didn't want to do anything really heavy. But this is still going to be a workout, I'm sure. Anyway, I'm going to get that started. So after looking around for a good starting point, I decided to start in the shade because, as I said, it's pretty hot. But I'm here at the far right corner. So if you come in, you can see the wall back there. If you come in on the far right hand corner, just past where the chessboards are, is where I'm starting. And I'll show you what this looks like now. Okay, so here you can see what it looks like now. There is a bit of a round edge that goes around there, and there's a bunch of dirt there. Now, when you first look at this, you might think, oh, some of the bricks are missing, but they are actually under there. I started digging just a little bit right here, and I am finding that the bricks are there. They're just sunken, so I'm hoping that that's the case all the way around because
that's my job, Lori.
As you can see here,
that's awesome, right?
It almost looks like some of the bricks are missing, but I'm willing to bet if I just dig a little bit, look, already I can hear them. They're under there still. So I do have hope that all the bricks are still here. Keep your fingers crossed. Well, as you can see by my face, it's extremely hot out here, and I am sweating like a pig. But the maintenance guy just stopped by, and I had a little chat with him. So he's gonna actually drop off some tools and a wheelbarrow for me. So I'm actually gonna do more today than I thought initially. And hopefully I'll make good progress. So I have like a couple of hours of time. I think it's just after 2 right now. Not sure exactly. I forgot to look at the time before I started this clip, but I should definitely have at least an hour and a half, and I should be able to get a good chunk of it done in that time. So we'll see what happens. And in the meantime, while I'm waiting for him to come back, you can see I got out quite a bit of dirt. So it's kind of hard to tell because there's like a small layer of dirt on there, but I have exposed quite a bit of the bricks. I should have asked that guy to bring a broom too, but oh well, no biggie.
That guy.
Whatever I can't get up, the rain will take care of. But you can see I got this little tiny tool here.
Again, no comments.
I have that, gallery. And I have that. And yeah, I wouldn't have gotten very far with that, but now that I'll be getting those tools, I'll be getting a lot further. So a little bit of time has passed now, maybe 20 some minutes or so, and the maintenance guy has come back and he dropped off some tools for me. Wow, that sun is bright. And in the meantime, I got to talk to a couple of really cool people, and it helped pass the time a little bit. But anyway, let me show you the tools that I have to work with. So he was nice enough to drop off a wheelbarrow, a couple different shovels, a little scraper hoe thing, and a couple bottles of water, which that was very thoughtful, and I appreciate that. I did bring my own water, but at this point it's actually getting warm now, so But anyway, so now I'm going to use these to continue over there and see how much I can uncover. So can you tell it's a little warm out? My face is bright red, drenched in sweat. I didn't get as much done as I had hoped I would. I was having a little bit of a problem with some roots that were growing up through the bricks, but I got them out for the most part. Here, let me show you real quick. Okay, so there's one of the roots that were being a pain in the ass. And part of it's still in there, but it's away from the bricks, so that's all I care about. Now you'll notice here, let me go around this side. I don't know how well that's coming through on the video. I got the sun straight in my eyes. But anyway, you could see that I did expose quite a bit of the bricks. There's a small thin layer of dirt on there that I don't want to use the shovel to get rid of, because I don't want to scratch the bricks any more than I already have. So I think next time I come, I'm gonna bring a broom, or maybe ask them if I can use one of their brooms or something, just to get excess dirt off like that. You'll notice that some of the bricks are missing, not many. This part of the circle that I'm standing in now, and I'll tell you what my theory is on why this is here. But you'll notice that it just kind of stops right there, and then it picks up again over here. So we may have to recreate that circle as well. And it's in a weird shape after that too. It like rounds off, and then it comes to a corner, and then it goes up, and another corner, another one, then another corner, and then it goes up to here, which I believe this is also a path. I started digging it a little, and there are bricks under there. So my guess is that the path probably goes up to here and probably meets with this path somehow, because you can see there is a brick like right here, and others back there, and it probably meets up with this, which also has a missing brick. And eventually try to move that, put that somewhere else so it's not sitting on the bricks. But yeah, I exposed quite a few bricks. Again, I'm not sure how well it's coming through on the video. It was a lot of work. This was my second barrel full of dirt. You wouldn't think there was that much dirt there, but there was. So now this is just one little corner, and there are tons of paths to reopen out here.
There sure are.
But some days I will have help from the maintenance guys when they're not doing anything. He had already said that they planned on coming and helping out. But oh, my theory on what this little circle is, because you have the circle here, and then it goes out to here, and this is about where the chessboard is. Now, mind you, this is not based on any facts or anything like that.
No different.
But I'm assuming, because when I read about the chessboard, they said that they stood at either end calling out the moves of people to move the pieces, whatever you want to call them, people pieces. They were both people dressed up as pieces. And I think that maybe one person stood where I'm standing, and the other person probably stood out there. I walked out there a little bit. I didn't dig any of it up, but I walked diagonally across the board, and there are bricks here. I don't know if they go in a circle, if it's like the same shape as down there, but I would guess that it probably is.
Yeah.
I won't know until I dig that up, and that definitely will not be this time, because I have run out of time. I now have just enough time to dump this dirt, gather up my stuff, drop all the tools off over at the office, and then I'll come back another day.
The next day.
But hopefully this wasn't too boring for you. Hopefully you enjoy seeing parts of the path that haven't been exposed in who knows how long. So you can kind of get an idea of the circle there too from this angle. But anyway, I'm not going to get sidetracked. So I'm going to gather up my stuff and get the heck out of here. I need a shower bed. well, that's going to wrap this one up. I didn't get as much done as I thought I would, or as I hoped I would, but just getting that little corner back there on the other side of the wheelbarrow, I'm happy that I got that far. I exposed some bricks that probably haven't seen the light of day in God knows how long, at least maybe since
Thank you, Lord.
the 80s, who knows. I was told that the gentleman that was part of the Ben Salem Historical Society, Jack, that he used to bring his daughter here, and they would, little by little, they would always clear up the paths and everything, and they had them all clear at one point. But I know Jack hasn't really been here since probably like the 80s or so. But again, you know, I'm proud of what I've done so far. I have a lot more to go. I really can't wait to get that chessboard going. That's really going to be fun and exciting for me to see that all open. I'm just going to have to be very, very careful when I dig that up, because the bricks, they're laid differently and they're kind of a little more brittle. So I want to try to maintain as much of the original bricks as I can, as I mentioned before. So anyway, I'm rambling. I'm going to end this now, and I'm going to say I'll see you in the next one. And as I always say, make sure you stay safe, stay healthy, and take care.
All right, so that was the dig out of day one. As I said, I originally planned on showing 3 videos today, but because I rambled so much in the beginning, and because I continued to stop the video to explain things, which is necessary, really, just to give you more of a background, because you know, I didn't show the very beginning videos of there. I just started it from when I had the permission to actually do things in there. Day 2 is very interesting. I arrived there and I had a very good surprise once I got there. So we'll have to wait till the next time I do a Tom's World to show that live. But if you wanted to go ahead and watch ahead, you could always do so. You can go to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/thisistomsworld. I will put it up here right now on the bottom so that you can see it. That's all you got to do. youtube.com/thisistomsworld. All one word, no punctuation, no spaces. You can go there. Make sure if you do go there that you hit the subscribe button. Whatever videos you watch, if you like them, please feel free to hit the like button, make comments, anything at all. Every little thing you do on there helps me with the YouTube algorithm. I've been trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. I can tell you that right now, as I'm clicking on it, I am at 841. So I'm not far off. These last 200 have been taking quite a while. In the middle, I actually got quite a few in a short amount of time, all thanks to these videos of the garden. A lot of people in the area started to subscribe to my channel because they didn't even know what this was when they would walk past it. They just said, whatever, it's a wall and a fence and weeds, whatever. But then they got to learn about it, and they wanted to see it come back to life, and they tuned in and they watched and they commented. I got a lot of views, a lot of comments, a lot of likes, a lot of subscribers thanks to this, as well as my Dinosaur Lake videos, which was the very first show I did here on BB3 TV of This Is Tom's World. I showed the very first video I did at Dinosaur Lake and the very last video I did there. So you could always go back and watch that on BB3 TV on Facebook or on YouTube. They should, or on Twitch, really. They should be on all 3 of them, so you can check that out there. Make sure if you find your way to the BB3 TV YouTube that you subscribe to that channel as well. We're trying to get our numbers up on that. Taryn will be on that because hopefully she sent me a personal message with her email address in it, because as I said, I couldn't copy and paste it here. So Taryn, if you're still watching by some odd chance, make sure you send that to me in a personal message so I can add you. Otherwise, yeah, I guess I'm going to wrap this up because I've been on for an hour and almost 15 minutes, and I do have things I got to do here. I have to make dinner for Dad. I have dishes to wash beforehand, and tonight is my Stephanie night. She will be here tonight and tomorrow, and I you know, she takes priority over all this stuff, over all my YouTube, over BB3, everything. She's my heart. She really is, and I love her so much, and I can't wait to see her. Anyway, enough being mushy.
thank you all for watching, commenting, for the likes that I got. Lori, if you, like I said, if you're really enjoying this and you want to skip ahead, feel free. Go to the address down here that's scrolling across. Hit the subscribe button. Watch the videos and see what you think. I have videos there that aren't to deal with the garden as well. I've shown some of them here. There's quite a few I haven't shown here. I will eventually, but right now I just wanted to start the process of the garden because I'm excited to bring that to everybody because it meant so much to me, and it still does to this day. When I'm at work and I happen to go by there, I have to stop for a second and just look around. We have gotten so far with this. Every path is dug out. We have plants and flowers and all kinds of stuff growing in there, and they have continued to do that even since I have stopped being a volunteer. And they're putting in more plants. All the plants from last year have come back, and they look beautiful already. Some of them are flowering, some have not yet. My favorite flower is flowering once again, the columbine, and that is looking like there are so many flowers on it, and I'm loving it. I can't wait till they get to full bloom. I will be definitely taking videos of that and pictures and stuff like that, so they'll be all over my my YouTube channel, all over my Facebook page for my YouTube channel of the same name. This is Tom's World. They'll be on I think I said BB3. They'll be on my YouTube, they'll be on my Facebook, they'll be on BB3, they'll be on my personal page. I just love this place. This is my zen, really. It's just a calming place for me, and I thank you all for coming along with the beginning of the journey on this. And make sure that you stay tuned to BB3 TV for everything that's on here. And before I forget, Mr. Nighthawk, he has on his show, the Weekend Morning Brew, which he does Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in the mornings. He has a contest going on. The person who comments the most and who likes the most of on his show, I think he said within a month's time there's going to be a prize pack. So make sure you can go look at his show from today. He gives the details on that, and you can find out everything you need to know. And what else? Today is Friday, so Dustin Heisey will be on tonight with Off the Cuff at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So make sure you tune in for that, as well as everything here on BB3 TV. And we thank you all for watching. We love each and every one of you and appreciate the views, the likes, the comments. Keep them coming. And I'm going to get out of here. So thank you once again.